Upstream, are you with me? Under rainbow, curtain in the city, ocean, around me, downpour. Upstream, are you with me? Feel it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Adrian Zduńczyk, CMT Charter Market Technician, CryptoBirb. Welcome to today's AMA session with our incredible partners at Credefi. We're coming here today by the legend, the king himself, Ivo Grigorov, who's my good friend for many, many years. And I look forward to it personally because, not only I'm a big fan of Credefi and of the tokenization of real world assets in general. I think Credefi is an exceptional, outstanding, pioneer in the space of tokenized bonds and beyond. So we're gonna be talking about this and more because the future of real yield is here. Welcome to the show, Ivo. How is it going? How are you feeling?
Yeah, all good, all good. Thanks, Adrian, for the kind intro. Indeed, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, and we have been extremely busy recently. A lot of developments on our end, so would love to share a bit more light on it. And indeed, I do think that now is the prime time to speak about real world yield, about tokenization as a whole, and overall the prospect of our RWA. I think it's gonna be a great conversation here.
Likewise, likewise. And quite frankly, RWA, when I look at the charts, is pretty much the only crypto sector that has been not only up, it has been up consistently 100% year over year over the last couple of years. So the growth is there, bridging easily $20 billion, of assets under management and tokenized assets and private credit, tokenized private credit, and tokenized bonds and tokenized commodities. Tokenized interest rates, and there is a lot of that, right? However, if we were to set the stage, for all of our viewers and listeners right now, where's Credefi right now? What's next coming up?
Uh, well, I think you have put it exactly right. We're just in our growth stage. I mean, overall, we're just scratching the surface, to be honest. There is trillions of dollars in financial instruments trading on a yearly basis, and to be honest, we're not even. I mean, we're not even reaching like 1% out of the whole thing, and I'm speaking about the whole RWA sector. So, we have the better technology. We have, the more transparent way of doing it. We have all the benefits of, the modern day, basically mindset, freedom, and decentralization aspect. So I'm quite sure that in the next, let's say, 5 to 10 years, these quite a big chunk of these instruments, so we're speaking about trillions of dollars here, will be actually on the blockchain, will be actually tokenized. So where Credefi stands, yeah, we're set for a great run, man. I mean, that's basically we're betting our lives on it, and to be honest, I'm very positive that it's gonna turn out a good bet.
Yeah, and on just not just to prove, everything that we said, with and I with the numbers. Again, total RWA on chain is right now north of $21 billion in total, which a little bit that more than what is it, like not even a year ago, it was twice or even twice less. That was 60% less. And time flies very fast. At the end of the day, we're talking total stablecoin holders, of course, stablecoins being the key tokenized assets, tokenized real world assets, tokenized currencies, with total asset holders, close to 100,000 of them. Private credit being the biggest, right? Close to 13 billion. That U.S. Treasury debt of close to $6 billion. Commodities 1.4. And we can go on and on. However, we're talking about tokenizing bonds, right? And that's something that Credefi, I think, has taken a lot of challenge and solution, to provide reliable solution to it. So let's talk about for a moment, like, why tokenizing bonds matters at all.
Well, yeah, there's two aspects and basically two parts to this question. So first of all, bonds and financial instruments as a whole is probably one of the best use cases for tokenization and for blockchain. So you have a 24/7 market open. You have no regional restrictions. You have, access to uh, basically millions of customers straight at 24/7, and then you do not have all the restrictions which, let's say, are imposed from the traditional financial sector. So you have to go through a brokerage, you have to go through an investment bank, you have to go to a stock exchange, etc., etc. All of these are actually adding on fees onto the normal investor and onto the company itself as well. So whenever a company wants to get access to, let's say, a wider market, or without the regional restrictions and boundaries, I think that bonds is a great way to finance themselves. I think it's a great way also to actually get access to capital, and both for retails to actually invest and get this sustainable kind of yield, but it's backed. It's not like some kind of fugazi, as they said. It's basically, it is backed, it's collateralized, and it's very secure. It's one of the most secure forms of investment vehicles out there. So, of course, this was the natural next step for Credefi, and I think it's the natural next step for, any investor who wants to, let's say, hedge or diversify their portfolio in a more riskless manner. And yeah, this is basically one of the things which we focused on for quite some time. We managed to roll it out. And from a regulations perspective, it's also probably one of, okay, not the easiest, but it is one of the most straightforward aspects of tokenization. You have an asset, a debt asset, and you tokenize it, then you transfer the economic benefit of this debt asset to whoever is holding the bond. Well, in our case, the NFT corporate bonds, which we call them, which, by the way, we launched together with Polytrade, great partners of ours as well. So yeah, it's something which I think every investor um, perhaps should have in their portfolio, or at least should take an interest and read up onto it.
Correct, because at the end of the day, from the portfolio allocation attribution of assets, perspective, I think, bonds is a little bit considered as a safe haven, at least in terms of uncertainty, which is, quite easily observed, how much fluctuation, there has been lately, how much trading there's been pretty much record on the traditional side, record trading volume on the option side, of course, there's been the gigantic volume on the bonds, on the 30-year treasuries, on 10-year treasuries, of course.
Actually, one more point on my side when speaking about this. Also, regarding blockchain and regarding, everybody's saying, projects need to have interoperability. There needs to be, like this kind of, let's say, a whole full closed circle when it comes to investing. So with what Credefi has actually achieved, and what we are very, very positive, we feel very strongly and very positive for, is exactly the opportunity to use those assets not only as let's say store of value, or just as an investment opportunity, but actually you can use those assets for leverage, which is something which is, at least from blockchain perspective and from Web3 right now, is kind of groundbreaking. A lot of people have been speaking about it, but to be honest, up until now, nobody has been pushing and making great, let's say, steps on it. So, using secure assets, although tokenized, for leverage and being able to free up your capital, but still hold the asset, is something which is, very, very important in any financial, let's say, literacy, and in any financial movements, right? So banks have been doing it for, I don't know, hundreds of years. They're using the assets which they're holding, leveraging on it. I mean, sometimes, yeah, we have some negative effects on over leveraging it, but if you have a good risk methodology, same as what we have in Credefi, I think you're good to go. You know, like people can really utilize those assets, earn passive income, and in the meantime still keep relatively secure compared to the rest of the market.
Yeah. Yeah. So, knowing about the, corporate NFT bonds, knowing of, the variety of the institutional products that you have under Credefi umbrella, how does it compare to one more that is called autonomous earning, right? How do the yield paths compare between the bonds and the autonomous earnings?
Well, autonomous learning, what we have developed is basically the easiest form for investors to basically lend their money and earn interest on it. It's basically kind of like a deposit into the bank, although we're not comparing it, I must state it, but it's very easy. Like you just provide liquidity, you're earning interest rate on it. Your money is basically into a pool, and this pool is, divided by different assets, so different credit lines, different credit users, borrowers, etc. All of them have different, let's say, PD probability of default, and we're managing an average basically yield out of this portfolio. With bonds, you're actually taking a position into one certain company. Of course, we are providing the info for the company. You are taking a position into one certain company, but in the meantime, you have like this clear debt obligation, which is yours. Basically, when you buy the bond, you own the debt. Like there is no middleman here. You're basically a debtor to the, or you are not a debt, you are a lender to the company, and the company itself is in obligation to you. So there is a big difference here. As I said, it's more secure. And on the other side, first of all, it is like you can actually sell it before maturity, before expiration. So you can it's transferable debt. You can sell it to anybody else out on the market who is willing to do it. You can leverage on it, and at a later stage, with Credefi and our growth perspective and what we're trying to build, there's going to be also different baskets of such kind of assets. Something which in the traditional financial world they call indices, etc. So at the end of the day, there's like sky is the limit in terms of financial engineering and what you can do with them. But in a very easy manner, right now you're earning 22% passive income, which is quite good as well.
So what I'm thinking, right? Of course, because there's like I said, a whole variety of those nicely financially engineered products, right? Just like you mentioned, the lending, the borrowing side of this, and owning the particular fraction of the company's debt, basically, right? It all falls under the category of tightly regulated markets, and such as, of course, the RWAs and the tokenized matters, right? With markets and crypto assets and beyond. So what's the latest stance? Like, how far have you pushed so far on the Credefi side? How you kind of like navigate through those muddy waters of our WA exposure?
Well, we are, we have been from the onset partnering with, financial institution, which is, a regulated one. It is registered. We have pushed our license for VASP in Lithuania. We are basically pushing for MiCA right now as well. To be honest, we're halfway there. Although I heard there's going to be a delay. So, these are, and yeah, basically we're pushing a lot on legal, let's say, fees, and this is a part of our business. So we're very compliant, very, very, how to say it, careful when it comes to regulations. But in the meantime, as I said, the regulations, I have stated it before, are not a bad thing. It's better to have a clear guideline than basically second guess everything you do and to wonder when this whole thing is gonna bite you in the ass. Basically, sorry for the language, but uh, you know we don't want that. So we're very careful. We're following the guidelines. For now, we're compliant, and yeah, I think every project should do it. As I said, this kind of like they even help the average investor because they bring some sense of security. Like if the company is licensed if the team is doxed, such as ours. If we give our company address, registration number, etc., on our website, I mean, you know where you're sending your money to. So at the end of the day, this is something which perhaps should be pointed out more regularly. I mean, there is a lot of noise in the market. There's, all types of hype projects which turn out to be like, basically a bubble. So, of course, Dior, as they say, but there's still companies which are, like there's projects which do want to run as, as a corporate, which want to be, like basically in the clear seas, and they are just, using the technology to advance forward something which is already out there in the market. As I have always said it at Credefi, we're not doing something completely new. We're innovating what has already worked. So there is no chance it will not work right now as well. We're just doing it in a more modern way, let's say.
Gotcha, and it makes sense, right? Not to reinvent the wheel, just actually use the blockchain technology to just make it easier, more accessible, transparent, and exactly what it's supposed to do, right? To the very most simplistic terms, isn't that right?
Email, fax, it's the same thing.
Exactly.
Like, where is the fax now? So, yeah.
Exactly. Very, very good comparison, Ivo. And of course, I'm a big fan of your social engagements, on how strong community you guys have on the Credify side, and with the token, with the xCREDI, with Credi, there's lots going on. So let's talk about the xCREDI for a moment, right? How does it actually support, all those passive income strategies as of now? Has anything particular changed lately? What's the focus now?
Okay, well, just to bring back, for potential new listeners and users and community members. So, yes, indeed, Credify has two token system. So the first token is Credi, our main token. It is basically our utility token, which gives perks and benefits on our platform, both for for lenders and borrowers and investors, basically anyone who holds credit, right? Then we have something called Module X, which is our security model, where people can deposit their credit. They can, they need to wait 6 months for it, and then the credit is burned and you get minted xCREDI, which is our governance and rev sharing token. So you need to have a certain task and action to perform, but then you receive xCREDI, which is our governance token, and rev share, which technically speaking resembles a bit, giving back to the community and to the, for what the project has been working on and the products which we are generating fees. Uh, and in the meantime, it brings a deflationary factor on our ecosystem. So, basically, the more people are using the platform, more credit would be burned, more X credit will be minted, but at a bonding curve. So it's not going to be 1 to 1. Actually, even right now, it's 1 to 11. So you have to burn more credit to actually earn the right to have X credit. And then we have something called perpetual rev share, where people can actually stake their xCREDI and start earning basically APY on it from our revenue. So straight away, you're technically part of the company.
Yeah, and I appreciate it much, not only as a partner, as a friend, as a fan. I appreciate since, xCREDI is part of is giving you part of a lot of, revenue sharing, basically not only in the traditional sense, but at the end of the day, we're talking about, the APY, the current APY of 80-90%, which is quite standing out, because at the end of the day, like I said, this regulation side, this all those usage of those existing financial products that we know from real world assets from traditional finance. This all brings the sense of, just like you mentioned, the protection, the security, things that we know already, which makes it so much easier to use, except that it's just placed on a blockchain, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking here in terms of looking at xCREDI is people are really looking at something of a good, well-designed financial product, all right, that is paired not only on the utility side, that is actually there being shared, as the company grows. I think this is investing in a community so to speak, it eventually pays back, right? Because the community grows, the institutional side of the company grows as well, because the
Yeah.
whole word spreads, and of course there's a larger fan base. I think this all is very much forgotten, as many projects these days. Well, we don't have to search too far. Just look at meme coins, right? They were taking all the shortcuts, basically going directly for the reward, which at the end of the day, is exactly what makes the whole market collapse the way it did for the meme coins. And looking at Credefi, the reliability is here, the security is here, the protection is here, the growth is here, the revenue shares are here, right? And they are consistent. And I think this builds gigantic trust of the community towards your brand. So well done on that, Ivo. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
by all means. And what sort of do you have any particular feature that you love as the leader, the man behind the project, that you love the most about the xCREDI?
Regarding xCREDI, yeah, I do love the fact that, okay, you have to basically really believe in the project. I mean, xCREDI is designed for, the core believers, the loyalty, and, actually they get like this benefit of the rev share, but also because they believe that the company will succeed. So this is, kind of like, I don't know, at least I envision it. It's a bit it's kind of like a loyalty program. I mean, the more loyal you are, the more, points you get rewarded. And I mean, I love the fact that, like people are trusting the fact that, okay, right now, let's say, xCREDI has still not shown its full potential, but they're ready to, burn their credit to get xCREDI. So, it's people who are truly invested into the project, into the idea, and this for me is basically, yeah, any project and any company is as strong as the community and the team behind it. And I think we're one step closer to achieving this very loyal, let's say, group of believers who are gonna be there, not like today or tomorrow, but like 5-10 years from now. So this is something which I truly love about it.
And well, I can only share the passion, Ivo. And before we take it to the final question again, I want to highlight the importance and the relevance of what we are talking and discussing here, right? Because we are literally talking about one of the very few market sectors that has been consistently going up on average. And again, the going up part is not 10%, it's not 5%. We are talking 100% year over year. It's a gigantic uplifting curve that is also, I think, strongly seeded and planted in terms of the propagation of that by BlackRock themselves, right? By Larry Fink, who talks about
Actually,
tokenizations. Yeah.
not to spill the beans, but yeah, to whoever is listening might love this part. As you might know, like Credefi has been accepted into a really really cool accelerator together with Plug and Play and XDC. And Plug and Play, they're huge, man. Like they have a network of basically nearly all of the Fortune 500 companies are within their network, etc. To be honest, basically the first workshops we were at, the opening of the accelerator, like people, you wouldn't believe, but like people are expecting, this whole new ecosystem of financial entities, which are like, RWA, Credefi, like, such as Credefi, all the other participants, like people are expecting that in the next, as I said, 5 to 10 years, there's gonna be a whole new ecosystem, a whole new market for this new type of quasi financial institutions which are going to be into the market, and they do want to position themselves either as partners, investors, like people recognize what's coming. So this is once again, like it has given me so much energy. Like we're completely revamping our platform. I have put all efforts on hand, like all hands on deck. Everybody's really hyped at the team, because when you notice that somebody is recognizing the potential, and when it's not like just anybody, but like corporates from the US, from the Silicon Valley, etc. okay, I mean, these guys are smart, right? So if BlackRock is entering the market, you should better enter it too, you know? So that's uh, that's some validation out there, and you know, it has given us so much energy and trust in what we do. Like even now, I'm more sure than ever that you know this is basically the future. I know that a lot of projects are saying it, and it's kind of stereotypical, but man, it's you know it's gonna be a brave new world out there, like in less than 5 years. I'm sure that you know with a true bull run and everything in place, you know the
Yep.
chart which you showed, the 20 billion one, I'm sure that it's gonna get like I don't know, like 1,000% more in less than like 24 months.
Yep. Well, I shared the passion again. I shared the excitement, and I genuinely hope it's gonna go this way since I'm investing in a lot of RWA myself. Although point that I wanted to kind of like close off with, right? Because what we were looking at last couple of days, especially Sunday night over Monday, right? This was this infamous case of Mantra, one of the leading
Yeah,
RWA projects as well, that completely crashed and took the whole market cap basically by 6 billion down overnight.
yeah.
And which is exactly why we're seeing so much red lately. Although in general there is this uplifting curve, just like I said, which very nicely, of course, shows the participation on the on-chain RWAs, and that's very much reflected. And holding a stake in an asset class that is growing in the particular company names, such as Credefi, such as Credi, such as xCREDI, basically gives you exposure to this asset class that just keeps going, right? Unless unless those companies like Mantra, those fallen heroes, they actually somehow magically, climb back. I think there's a lot of opportunity for everybody to appreciate the real winners in the space, right? And Credify is there, one
Um,
as one of the outstanding winners.
Yeah, thanks for the kind words. Just a comment on my side regarding, you know, I mean, I don't want to speak, you know, bad for anybody. We all know what has been going on, uh, but you know, just because like Lehman Brothers collapsed, right? I
Yep.
mean, just because you know we have seen like this Madoff as well. You know, I mean, just because there's some, let's say, I don't know, bad apple, sour, you know, and I'm speaking about the whole ecosystem. I'm not speaking only about RWAs. You know, that doesn't mean that you know the overall sector is flawed or that you know everybody who is in it is a scammer, blah blah blah. You know, like this is not the case. I mean, you had Bernie Madoff, you know, 30 billion, blah, you know, a lot of other
Yeah.
it happens everywhere. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. And of course, you know, you take a risk, you believe in the team, you choose your plays right. You might be successful, of course. You might take a hit here and there, but the thing is, I've always been a fan of slower, but you know, constant, rapid improvement, growth, etc. Then you know, like these huge booms and then busts down. You know, I'd rather have like this slow growth. That's why we have always been saying like you know, compounding your interest, compounding your let's say passive income. If you are using Credify's platform, that's the way you know you grow to wealth, right? You don't get rich overnight, but you don't go broke over an hour. So yeah, it happens, but still, you know, that doesn't mean that the market is flawed. I mean, some companies, whether it's intentional or others, but if you do your Dior, if you see and follow, you know, like if there is a company who's been out there for like 4 or 5 years, you know, constantly growing, you know, showcasing basically their ideas, their beliefs, you know, like putting them into work. I'm sure, you know, like any investor can be fine, you know.
Yeah. And that's all to say basically again that our job as smart investors, while placing our money, is to place them on the winners, not on
Yeah.
the losers. And at the end of the day, it's very clear and distinct, who's here in the market, namely Credify, and who is not dropping out. So to close out our today's show with Ivo Grigorov from our partners of Credify, incredible people, is what's the one thing, the not one number one thing, basically, that you're looking forward the most, Ivo, yourself, to the in the next months?
In the next months, well, the first thing, of course, would be Token 2049. A lot of partners are gonna be there. We're gonna be participating in RWA Unwind event together with Clearpools, Centrifuge, Plume, Polytrade. So it's gonna be a great panel discussion. A lot of interesting people there. So yeah, as of next month, Dubai is on the list. This is a major event. We're gonna be there. We're gonna be actually publishing our schedule. People can come meet us, etc. Uh, in terms of business development, as I said, like the new platform release, there's gonna be new UI UX. Looks amazing, by the way. I'm gonna be sharing perhaps in the next couple of weeks, like sneak peeks, etc. We are going with a big bang for the accelerator. We basically it's gonna finish in June, where gonna be going to the Silicon Valley, pitching in front of some of the biggest players out there, like Franklin Templeton, etc. So there's a lot of things are to look for. Hope we don't get too tired. Although I'm so hyped, the energy out here is just everybody's like, yeah, let's push it.
The
So
adrenaline, yeah.
yeah, so yeah, a lot of good things happening. Of course, the market is the market. We can never predict it, but from business development, from fundamental standpoint, we're as strong as ever.
I got it, and I can, confirm from my end incredible reliability and good stuff. Congratulations to you, Iva, and on your leadership side, incredible leader you are, and have great team on your side. So this is ultimately, at the end of the day, what pushes us through the muddy waters, through the product projects collapsing, through the tariff wars, trade wars, and everything else. Basically, Credefi is still here, and it's gonna stay here for many, many years to come. And on behalf of my community, on behalf of my own, again, congratulations to Ivo. I'm a big fan, and you guys keep rocking. And we definitely gonna make sure to touch the base in sometime soon on the next AMA session to to talk about the RWA, because at the end of the day, the future is here, as we say. So I've been your host, and I'm honest, always honored to be your host, Ivo. You're an incredible person on a private side as well. I have a lot of
Thank
admiration
you.
for you, my brother, and you don't not need to say that, right? It's just for everybody to appreciate again how awesome of a person privately Ivo is. So
Same to you,
thank you for
Adrian.
that.
You guys have always been like, one of the best teams we have worked with, and you personally, like, basically, we do feel friendship here. It's not only, yeah, business wise. So, thanks for the opportunity once again. Hope people heard and loved what they heard. And yeah, always a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you for the invitation, and we're definitely doing it again.
Love
Probably
it.
maybe after some releases as well.
Yes, sir. Love it so much, everybody. Make sure you visit Credefi.io with their new website, new page, new engines coming up. And I kindly encourage you to go ahead and give them a follow button as well on their Twitter accounts. And Ivo Grigorov of Credefi, our incredible partners, has been our guest today. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you. Have,
I've
all
been
the,
your
have a
host.
great day.
You too. You too. I've been your host, everybody, at Zduńczyk CMT. And